All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of Late Night on Base. My camera is a little off today, but whatever. The show doesn't stop. The show doesn't stop. I am your boy, Bill, back at it. Damn, I really don't like the camera today. It's the glare. I don't know what's going on. You guys are just going to have to, let's just actually limit this a bit. Anyways, how's it going, guys? Bill, back at it once again. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. Malfunctioning in the arena. It doesn't really matter. Anyways, I'm your boy Bill. Today's gonna be a cool show. We got Alok from Evo on, and we got Jason from the arena. So to my AVAX family, what is up? We're gonna have the creator of the actual arena where I'm streaming on. I'm streaming on X, I'm streaming on YouTube, and on the arena. So we will be having him on second half of the show. Alok will be on the first half, but basically, interesting day today. We're live currently when Coinbase is doing their live stream. That's cool. You know, they're pretty much going to dominate the numbers, but big news. They're actually bringing tokenized stocks on chain. And I think that's actually really, really, really bullish. I made one of these like quote videos or quote reaction things. Check it out if you haven't done so already. But by the way, that new like features is fucking dope. I like it. It's basically lets you like capture reactions for a video and you just post stuff. It's pretty cool. But tokenizing stocks is a massive win for a lot of reasons. Obviously, you know, you think about it, the traditional markets are such where, you know, if you want to buy US equities like SpaceX, Coinbase stock, whatever, NVIDIA, you have to have access to the US stock market. And, you know, there's billions of people around the world that don't have access to it. But bringing it tokenized where it's one-to-one backed, so it's not a meme coin. There's actually, you know, you buy a share, it's actually backed by the real thing. Opens up global liquidity to billions of people around the world. Not only that, though, obviously now you have people who are able to kind of get in. You're opening up liquidity for billions of people to come on chain who never would have given a fuck, honestly. These are people who probably don't want to care about meme coins. They don't care about, you know, NFTs, but they want to buy tokenized assets. So it is really bullish for the on-chain space. The more people that can come on chain, the better. You know, it's kind of like the conduit. You bring people in and then they stay and then they see what else is going on in this crazy little world we call crypto. So very, very bullish. I'm sure Coinbase is going to talk all about it. I'll catch it on the replay. You know, we'll catch it on the replay. And tomorrow, actually, we have Zen, who is head of growth, I believe, from Base, and we will talk to him all about, you know, the big news, tokenizing, why it's important, and a lot of other stuff. So tune in for that one tomorrow. But yeah, still the show goes on, baby. The show goes on. Oh, by the way, this episode is brought to you by Send, baby. Send, peer-to-peer cash sent digitally all around the world with privacy features built in with an amazing UI UX brand. Download the iOS app or download the app in the iOS store today. It's the era of the neobank, bruvs. The era of the neobank. Shout out to Ethan. But yeah, I think today will be an interesting episode. We'll still get our numbers, baby. We'll still get our numbers. And I want to also give a shout out to, well, we're not live with Ethan from saying, come on, rookie mistake. He's not on the show today. He's just a sponsor. Your boy Bill will be getting a haircut today. I'm pretty excited about that. Shout out to Elric, of course. Good day from NYC. Elric, always a pleasure having you on. Leon, GM to you, my friend. GM to you. Looking forward to getting AVAX more in the community. But also want to give a special shout out to our supporting sponsor is Banker. Banker's obviously supporting sponsor. You know, Evo or Alok from Evo is a Banker launch on Banker. Banker is great because they're providing coverage for their ecosystem. So we want to highlight, you know, really good builders. And so shout out to Banker and the team deployer and Danny and all them. But yes, I think, you know, we could tune in live, seeing what's going on. 143 plus people live, late night on base with your boy Bill. But let's just get to it, baby. Let's get to it. Let's bring up the one, the only Alok. How you doing, my friend?
Yeah, Bill, good to be here.
Good to have you, man. Good to have you. What did you think about this news about the tokenization of stocks? Did you hear about that today?
Actually, pretty cool. Like, so for example, for as someone who's not from, let's say, like, is from India, and there's a lot of barriers, right? Sort of that you want to have to go through, sort of buy US assets. I think it'll be pretty interesting to explore, like, what's the, like, how do you sort of get that, how easy really it is. Because a lot of countries, what they do is they do sort of set up some guardrails or KYC to sort of ensure that there's not a lot of stuff happening. But again, like, very, very interesting developments. I'd love to sort of explore that down the line.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, you're from, you know, a country maybe not traditionally being able to access the US equity market. And I think, you know, there's billions of people around the world who, you know, would love to invest in SpaceX, you know, whatever, or Coinbase. And I think this gives them the opportunity, equals the playing field. But I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's a big step for on-chain adoption. And I think you got to give people a reason to come on chain. And if this is a way to do it, all the power to it. But anyways, enough about that. My friend, okay, so we have 271 plus people tuning in. We're still going to get our numbers, baby. We're still going to get our numbers. It's called consistency. But let's talk Evo. Let's talk you, man. Tell us, man. Tell us from the beginning, because I've obviously Banker thinks highly of you, Danny thinks highly of you, and it's great to see that. So why don't you tell people what is Evo?
Got it. Let me introduce myself first, and then we can sort of get to Evo,
Sure.
right? So I think I've mostly been on the technical side of things. I've led operations for a Japanese AI company where we used to sort of deploy physical AI solutions, right, across Japan, Southeast Asia, Middle East, over 10,000 plus sites. Very recently, I was a VC, so I used to sort of deploy capital from
Mm.
100,000 to $200,000 in early stage companies. During my stint, I invested in around 15 companies in pre-seed. We got, like, six Series A's, two Series B's, a couple of one unicorn exit as well. So I think that's sort of been the track record. I've always looked at AI, DevOps, data ops, that sort of space in general, right? So I've been sort of very deep into that. And from there, I think I sort of saw an opportunity, and that's sort of what I'm building with Evo, right? Unlike a lot of, like I say, projects on Banker, I think the way I would sort of tell Evo is, like, Evo has like a its own, let's say, business model, right? And it's sort of slightly unrelated to tokenization itself, but there's ways we can sort of let the token holder sort of tap into, like, the Evo itself, right? So what Evo does, right? The premise is this: there's going to be long running, always on agents in the future. Like, that's sort of the future that we believe in, because the agents are getting smarter and they're getting running for longer and longer, right? So Evo wants to be the platform where we sort of orchestrate these agents for a very particular objective, right? Remember, like, these sort of agents are expensive to run, right? And you want to sort of don't want to just sort of let them running to do anything. You just want to point them at a very specific KPI, right? You want them to do something that's really valuable, and that's sort of the future that we believe in. And what we are building is basically an orchestration layer that sort of lets any companies or any individual run this sort of long running agents and direct them to a very particular KPI. So one example could be, like, you could just have an agent that sort of, let's say, takes care of optimizing a website, right? Your website conversion. So it takes in the data, it sort of figures out what's happening, what's not working, what's the optimal copy it should try, what's the optimal ad it should try, right? Bunch of other stuff. So that agent is basically like autistic to sort of just focus on just increasing conversion for you. And you can sort of take this and scale it to multiple, like, verticals or functions. It could be engineering, it could be sales, it could be anything, right? And I think that's sort of what Evo at its core is about. We want to run long running agents accurately and at a cost effective manner for you.
Is there something in the market similar to what you're doing. So basically, where did you see the issue rely? Because again, one of the things on Late Night Base we do is we want to also simplify complex topics to the normal person, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, not everyone will understand, even agents, what's going on. They kind of understand the basics. So at its core, what problem did you identify that you realize, okay, Evo needs to be made? Like, what's the current problem that Evo solves?
So, a lot of people try to stitch together agents. So, like, think about it. Like, earlier, we used to sort of just chat with agents. Like, when ChatGPT came, you just gave a query, you just got a response. And then slowly and slowly, imagine the kind of tasks you do with these agents have gotten bigger and bigger, right? Like, the time duration it takes, the kind of response it takes, the kind of projects you create are getting longer and longer. So, if you just sort of extrapolate that, right? The future, where the way we see it is that, okay, there's going to be agents 24/7 always on, just trying to work on a very specific activity. You just tell them that, okay, just increase my performance, just increase my KPI, whatever that you really care about, and they just sort of go on and sort of keep on doing that, right? And that's like a natural extension of how we have seen this sort of agents change, right? The way we work with agents change. The problem that I see, a lot of people try right now to sort of use this sort of agents in long running tasks, and they fail at it, or they trip at places, right?
Sure.
So a very good example is, like, let's say you tell an agent to, let's say, optimize a certain KPI, right? Let's say you want your agent to, let's say, improve the loading speed, right? Let's say, but it could do that, but it could also do a lot of stuff that could regress some of the other features that you may have, right? It could optimize one metric at the expense of something else that's really important for you, right? So that's like one very important thing that people that want to run long running agents should really care about, right? So Evo just makes it super easy, right, for everyone to sort of, Evo can figure out metrics for you. It can set up this tests, gates, right? We call it gates, so that you don't really go back in terms of the performance or behavior while you're trying to optimize something, right? So we set up and we make it super easy for users right now, like on any platform that they may be using. So a lot of our users are slightly engineering oriented, right? So they use it on Cloud Code, Codex, the typical sort of agentic setups that everyone has. And people prefer to use Evo over this sort of, even the at this big model lab output products, right? Because Evo just makes it better for them to sort of make this sort of long running tasks a lot more accurate.
Yeah, accuracy matters. Accuracy matters, especially when you have long running tasks. So you have an interesting background. You come from the VC world, and it's always great to talk to people who understand both sides, the VC world and the builder side. And you obviously know things that are what you want to deploy. You've had a lot of exits that you've been saying. So then, but now you've transitioned to being a builder. Are you still doing the VC as well in the side, or is it just strictly building now?
I've taken a sabbatical from everything else. I mean, of course, I still put in capital if there's a friend that sort of, raises.
Sure.
But I think I've taken a sabbatical from like day to day stuff.
So now your focus is on Evo. What makes you then so, because obviously that's a big, it shows a lot of dedication and passion. It shows that you are very serious about what you're building, because not many people take that leap, because VC is a good field too. Why are you so driven to build Evo? What causes you to wake up every day and be like, you know what, this is what I'm supposed to do at this moment in my life?
Got it. I think there's two ways I can answer that. A is like just my nature. I've been technical always, right? Even like the kind of founders I've helped or the kind of companies that I've invested in, they were super technical in nature, right? So it's something that I sort of come from. And second is just the opportunity itself, right? I think the opportunity is super immense just to sort of enable the world to sort of run this sort of long running agents. I think, like, imagine like how much percentage of compute or cost spent this is going to be like for a certain company. I think it's like actually immense, and we are just only at the early stage of adoption of this sort of pattern, right? You see a lot of people token maxing, right? I don't know if you have heard of this term. So it's like people that sort of run these agents again and again, like in a loop and constantly, right? Not a lot of people really do that, right? I mean, like if you think about like the distribution of people that sort of do that, there's always people that are at the frontier of stuff that's sort of trying stuff out, and there's like a long tail of people that sort of, okay, I mean, they may not really be the best of adopters, right? So I think where we believe is that token maxing is the future, but like conscious token maxing. Like, you just don't want to spend money or burn money. You want to be able to sort of direct those token spends to a very specific KPI, and that's what companies want, right? And that's what we want to enable everyone to do. And I think the opportunity is immense, and that's sort of, I've sort of I'm sort of doing this full time, always on.
Yeah, no, I think that's another reason why I liked having people on the show because from a it's beneficial in my opinion for two reasons. Number one, builders get distribution. We want to highlight builders like yourself so people know what's going on because it's a very saturated market. It's very difficult to see what's going on. Plus, you get distribution across all sorts of things: Spotify, YouTube, everything. But I think it's also important for investors, those that are in the trenches, because you need both. You need a project that has a really interesting idea and a developer and a team behind it that's passionate, but you also need people who will buy and want to trade, and because it's the fees. It's for any project, if you fail to try to reach your investors, you're going to fail. Your community is everything. So I think from a community standpoint, it's great to see how a founder is, right? Who's the founder? Who's the team? Because you're only as good as the team behind it, right? As an investor. So it's great to see kind of, you in shaping how your passion, your vision. So I want to applaud you on that. From an investor point of view, because you have both sides, do you also feel that like when you were investing seed money or whatever, that the founder was a big reason of when you would deploy a capital? Like, what were some of the, I guess, criteria on your end when you're in the investment world, the VC world, that made you cut a check per se?
Yeah, I think at that specific stage, right, at pre-seed seed, you really want to just bet on the team and the founder, right? And the thing that you want to really bet on is like the slope of learning itself, right? Like, is this founder really able to adapt as soon as possible, or is able to sort of identify the markets and sort of make changes, right? I think a lot of bets that we have made has been just on the nature of founder, because you don't really have a lot of numbers to go by, or you just have a founder and his or her vision of how they want to shape up the future, right? And I think that's sort of a more of a person bet that you really take at this stage, to be honest.
Do you think your pedigree as a VC and as a builder gives you an advantage when it comes to Evo? If you had to like basically be subjective about this.
Yeah, I think so. I would really think that I have been technical enough. Just Evo itself is like such a it's a very complicated orchestration of a lot of stuff, right? And it's very hard to pull off, let's say, the technical part of it as well as the user experience part of it, right? Because I think if Evo did not have that super easy onboarding, or it did not wasn't very effective, we would not have had, let's say, 20,000 plus users within 8 weeks, right? So I think that's sort of really important.
Hold on, time out. You said 20,000 users in 8 weeks you've had.
Yes, so we have
Okay.
had 20,000 installs.
I'm going to direct my team to make sure this is clipped up because that's a huge number. First of all, congratulations. That's how does it feel to accomplish that? That's a big number.
We're just getting started, man. I mean,
Let's
it's
go.
yeah. I mean, it's so long, right? I mean, there's like a lots of millions of developers out there, and we just hit 20,000. So I think there's a long way to go.
That's phenomenal. I mean, how has so let's then look at this. So you have 20,000. So obviously there's product market fit. Product market fits there. Let's go through the banker launch because I'm very curious to see how this is because in my opinion, it's a good mechanism for people to find product market fit, for developers to see. It's an easy way to see because you'll get very fast feedback as to whether or not the community cares, whether or not they're there. I feel there's a lot of advantages versus going a VC route, giving up equity. It's different. Why banker? Why did you launch a banker, or did someone in the community launch for you?
Someone in the community launched it, and I had to sort of look up a bit, to be honest. Like again, like given my background, I'm not really someone who's crypto native, but I love the concept of it, right? I mean,
Why?
sure, this because I think just the idea that someone can grow something just on the basis of, let's say, the project is, I think, super interesting, right? And I'll tell you one thing: the future that we are headed towards, right? Software is replicable. Software is not the
Yeah.
complex part, right? What's really important is the community, right? So I think that's sort of what I've been sort of leaning on, and I think the community, the banker team, and everyone has been super supportive, right? Because I think what they see is like, okay, this is someone who's like super technical. He has seen, like, let's say, the actual, let's say, how do you sort of take a company from 0 to 1, 1 to 10, 10 to 100, right? And now, like, if it's someone like me who sort of gives or embraces this sort of community, I think people love it, right? And I think there's ways you can sort of figure out how to sort of, let's say, tackle, let's say, the product, the users, and the token holders, like in a very delicate manner that sort of gives everyone a right to win, right? So yeah, I think that's what's been like very interesting for me and exciting for me.
So this is interesting. So you weren't familiar too much with Bankers. Someone deployed it in your community. You got a hold of it. Do you feel that was the right decision to embrace the token?
I think so. So far, I mean, a lot of people may have different
Sure.
opinions or experiences. I have been able to handle it pretty well, and a lot of friends are surprised. Like when I meet a lot of my crypto native friends, right, and they sort of tell about a lot of stuff that happens to folks, right. But still, I think I've been able to handle it fine because I think I've had a good community of folks who actually believe in the product, right? Who have seen, I mean, we were at 4,000 users just 3 weeks back, right? And we have gone from 4,000 to 20,000 users in the last couple of weeks or so, somewhere in that time frame. And not a lot of it is really from crypto. It's like actual adoption, right? But still, people sort of see those numbers and really believe, right? And I think that sort of gives you confidence that okay, I mean, there's something, and you also feel the wind beneath your back if you have got a lot of people sort of supporting you, sort of guiding you in terms of how to sort of navigate a bunch of stuff, bunch of this stuff.
Yeah. Do you think, and I agree with one of your sentiments, obviously the bottleneck no longer is going to be building, right? Obviously with the code tooling and stuff, like we're in an era where non-developers can become developers. It doesn't really matter. You have literally all the assistants. Claude Code can build wherever you want, really. But what happens is the community, the distribution aspect, getting people to know about it. And I think having a token representing your project gives an advantage. There's pros and cons. Obviously, you now have the expectation to push, and you're going to have people, but it's a huge advantage because you're getting attention. Most people would not care about the project unless if there was a reason. Basically, it makes sense, right? So, in your case, do you feel that you would have gone 20,000 users without a community behind it? Would you think, or do you think it would have just taken a lot longer?
Okay, I wouldn't say a lot longer. So the thing is, we still had a bit of, how do you call it,
Sure.
like momentum behind it.
Yeah.
Even before, let's say, the token launched, I think we were at like 0.3 version of launch, and
Sure.
my the launch that I had was like kind of viral, like in terms of how when I sort of actually put out the product for the first time. But I think it definitely helps, right? It definitely helps having people, let's say, talk about or sort of push you, or let's say even sort of be promoters for you, right? In any way, shape or form that they can.
Evangelism. Evangelist.
Yeah, yeah, and I think the community that we have built is really solid. I've got folks like who are holders or who are believe in the project, right? And I think we sort of have and share updates, and we sort of discuss a lot about, let's say, how do we sort of take this forward. And I think the community has been absolutely supportive in, at least from a mental point of view, right? From a mental sanity point of view, as someone who sort of started building this, I think it's been an absolute incredible.
That's amazing. Shout out right now, a quick second to shout out the 1,830 people live tuning in late on a base with Alok from Evo. Episode again is brought to you by Send, peer-to-peer cash sent digitally all across the world. Privacy features built in. Okay, so you have this launch. You've gotten momentum. You had momentum prior, but now you have even more momentum. Things are looking good, but not everything is easy when it comes to expectations with running a project, right? So from the VC side of point, you distribute money, you let them do it. On your end, and this is good for advice for other entrepreneurs too, because we have a lot of builders who watch this show as well, and they can take knowledge from other builders. What has been the hardest part for you specifically when it comes to Evo? Is it the token side of things? Is it continuing adoption? What has been, is it distribution? What has been your biggest challenge so far?
The funny thing is, I think I've got too many users, and it's just
Yeah.
varied, right? So let me sort of state you that, right? So right now I've got, let's say, the 20,000 users. They use it for, let's say, 100 different purposes, right? But you don't build like a super big at least in my opinion, in a this sort of an orchestration layer, by being very broad. You want to be you want to target, let's say, a very specific community, very specific vertical that's really valuable, right? So I think that's been like the challenge right now. Like, how do you sort of figure out which vertical or function this Evo is like absolutely, like, they can't live without it, right? I think that's been like, this is something that I'm sort of trying to do the discovery right now. So this is like my biggest problem at this stage. Like, how do I sort of get data from these 20,000 folks? How do you sort of figure out like what's the next step, right? You want to be someone who sort of latches onto, let's say, the next cursor, Harvey, or whatever, right? So that you become the infra provider to this large growing companies, right? So I think that's gonna be, let's say, the key focus going forward for Evo, like in the near future. When it comes to, let's say, the token side of things, which viewers might be interested in, I think from my point of view, it's very important that you don't force fit a utility just because you have to,
Sure.
right? I think it's just the worst of both worlds. You end up putting off your users and you end up putting off token holders as well, right? Just because there's some vocal minority of folk that just want a token utility forced in a particular way, right? I have been very clear to my community that it's not a representative equity or like profit distribution, but we will be using this token in terms of accessing a lot of Evo features in the platform that we are going to launch, right? So there's going to be a lot of, I mean, we are going to be launching a platform that you can sort of run Evo workloads on, right? And you can use the token to, let's say, sort of run or get a discount or whatever on this sort of jobs that you run. So I think that's going to be like a crystal clear utility itself, right? And I've run this with a lot of people. I've run this with the banker team, and I think everyone's sort of on board. Like everyone realizes, okay, you know what, this makes sense. Like you don't have to force something synthetic just so that you get whatever, right? Like some community or some adoption just because you have to. I think that's gonna be that has been my mindset, to be honest.
Yeah, I think 100%. I think you should never force something, especially if it's not what you envision. Because if you force something, that's just a temporary like fix, but that doesn't solve anything. People will always want more. People will always be like, "What's next?" And if it doesn't fit that roadmap, then you're kind of like stuck in a way. Let me, and we have to wrap this up in a few. What's the next 6 months looking like for Evo? What are some of the goals and aspirations that you want to achieve? Is there any KPIs that you have on top of your mind?
I wouldn't release any KPI numbers at the moment, but I can give you like a overview, right? I
Sure.
think in the very coming days, I think we're going to launch a platform for sure, right? It's gonna be like rather than the open source project that we have, people can sort of run their auto research runs or those long running agents in our platform, right? I think we want to put a lot of users from our free open source tool to, let's say, this platform. That's going to be a big push in the coming days. The second is, I think, as I said, discovering specific verticals, right? I think that's going to be like the key focus down the line in terms of figuring out what industry, vertical, geography, even, right? Like that you really want to make Evo the best to run at, right? And so that they can't really switch. The good thing about Evo as a platform is the more you use it, the more you're tied to the ecosystem, because we take care of all of our experiment results. We have all the data, right, of all these long running agents, and it's just very hard for someone to sort of sift. Like they can't just on a single day switch from Evo to something else, right? So we just have to find that one sticky use case that's gonna be the moneymaker.
And you probably will, man, because it seems like you're committed to Evo, and this is something that just drives you. So we look forward to kind of seeing it. But any last words, man, before we let you out? There's 2,300 plus people tuning in, probably more after the show. Any last words you have for the community?
So would love for folks to sort of check out our project. It's github.com/evo-hq/evo. It's already got 20,000 plus developers, actually 22,000 plus developers
Let's
that are trying
go.
out. Yeah, and it's been absolutely wild to sort of see people share me messages of what they've done with Evo. I think it's been like one of the people that was a user of Evo. They got a state of the art model of a DNA model, right? So they want to sort of predict DNA sequences like a professor. They got state of the art with like 20x efficiency. It's like insane, right? Like if you think about it, like imagine the kind of stuff, the good that's gonna do to the world, right? So I think that's sort of been like something that's been sort of driving me to also sort of push for the project as well. So would love for folks
Amazing.
to checking it out.
2,200 or 22,000
Yeah,
people. Amazing. Amazing. Alok, my friend, thank you for coming on the show, man. It's been a pleasure.
absolutely so.
And we're gonna have, by the way, by tomorrow, we'll have a few clips as well for this episode. We'll tag you. Make sure to send it to your community. Again, guys, if checking it out, check out Evo, and we'll make sure to have all the links in the descriptions. My friend, keep on crushing, bro.
Take care, Bill.
Take care. All right, that is Alok from Evo. Wow, amazing. 22,000 people. So obviously, product market fits there. That is insane. That's a massive number. You know, you're onto something when when you have, that amount of people using your project. So very cool to see. And it's great. These are the type of builders I like to have on my show. These are the type of builders that I want to help bring distribution to. Maybe not many people in crypto know about it, but I think you should. All right. So, oh man, I need to buy a new camera. What is up? What is this? What is this? Come on. The camera this is not right. Damn it. They don't pay me enough, guys. They don't pay me enough. Shout out to the 2,500 plus people tuning in live late on base. We need this episode again brought to you by Send. We will be playing a quick commercial from them and we'll get back to it. We'll have Jason on next from the arena. We'll see where he is, but a quick message from our sponsor.
Bendiska Osteonisus, Hera Hermesicarus, Narcissus, Medusa, Epasos, Ashalalala Susus, Minerva, Ecobubus. I love it when you couscous. Aphrodite, Bendiska Osteonisus, Hera Hermesicarus, Narcissus.
All right. Message from Sen. All right. So Jason message. He's going to be about 10 minutes. Come in on 10 minutes. So we got some time. So Arena fam, hold on tight, baby. Hold on tight. All right. Let's see actually what Coinbase is doing. Well, why don't we tune in and see if there's anything interesting? Why don't we do that? Huh? Why don't we do that? All right. Hold on. I just don't want to. I still don't understand why this camera sucks today. Don't know. All right. Let's see. Let's see if I can pull up some things. I would like to live stream it, but I think it's just not going to work. Too many people. It's kind of slow. Let's see though. Yeah. Definitely I'm going to wait on that. Don't want to share the screen yet just because it might be a little slow. But yeah, anyways, hopefully they have it on replay. But I'm telling you, man, the prices aren't where it's supposed to be, I guess. Yes. But you can't deny that the future looks bright for crypto in the blockchain industry. Also, Jesus, in the AI industry. Did you guys hear the news about Cursor? Got acquired for what? $60 billion? Man, Cursor, $60 billion. Must be nice to create some like crazy platform that literally gets acquired for $60 billion. I'll take 1/100th of that, 1/1000th of it. Let's see. While we wait for Jason, let's see what's going on with let's see. I'm actually looking at the live stream right now from Coinbase. Let's see. They are live and they have let's see.
Thanks, Roy. So all the incredible products you've heard about today exist because Coinbase is focused on increasing economic freedom in the world.
I don't know if you can hear it.
That means making money move faster for less so you can put it to work. But our job isn't finished. To update the financial system, we want to make it simple for every company to participate in the on-chain economy. Companies have the same problems consumers do. Moving money around the world is slow, expensive, and complicated.
All right, TLDR, they're trying to bring the world on chain. I don't want to bore you guys. Super cool. Again, bring people on chain. The more the merrier. The more the merrier. We'll take a little break. Looking forward to having the arena on. I really want to know. I'm going to ask Jason, what it is about AVAX, man. AVAX, I feel, has so much potential, but it just hasn't caught on. And I'm curious to know, is that a foundation issue? Is that the builders aren't coming issue? Is there not novelty? Because I don't know what's the answer. I think AVAX has an amazing opportunity to do really well and capture a lot of the mind share. They're now institutional chain, but outside of AVAX community, no one really talks about it. Why is that? Huh? Why is that? Is it because there's no late night on AVAX? Hey, Vo, and I actually want to talk to Vo about that. I really do feel there should be an opportunity to have a late night show because I feel AVAX has a lot of interesting builders that they just need distribution. They need distribution. Those that don't know, late on a base eventually is going to be, I envision manifesting that there's going to be a late night show on multiple chains. Late on a base, late on AVAX, late night Solana. Right now, late on a base is everything. Number one, we're not just a base show. But how dope would it be if like late on AVAX, late on a base, late on Sol, late on ETH, late night on BNB, whatever. Someone needs to do it. Someone needs to do it. Someone needs to do it. All right, listen, we're going to take a quick break. Wait for Jason. Chat it up. Should be up here in the next couple minutes. Let's see. In the meantime, let's screen share something so it doesn't look stupid. I guess we'll just screen share this. Shout out to the 3,100 people tuning in. All right.
Coinbase tokenized stocks are backed 1-for-1, so you'll actually own the shares, get the dividends, and have all the shareholder rights you would expect. But you can also trade them 24/7 on-chain, lend them out to earn interest, use them as collateral for a loan, or even send them to someone as a gift. Welcome to the future of stock trading. Today, we're announcing tokenized stocks on Coinbase. For the first time in crypto, you'll get the best of both worlds. True stock ownership, fully on-chain. Coinbase tokenized stocks are backed 1-for-1, so you'll actually own the shares, get the dividends, and have all the shareholder rights you would expect. But you can also trade them 24/7 on-chain, lend them out to earn interest, use them as collateral for a loan, or even send them to someone as a gift. Welcome to the future of stock trading. Today, we're announcing tokenized stocks on Coinbase. For the first time in crypto, you'll get the best of both worlds. True stock ownership, fully on-chain. Coinbase tokenized stocks are backed 1-for-1, so you'll actually own the shares, get the dividends, and have all the shareholder rights you would expect. But you can also trade them 24/7 on-chain, lend them out to earn interest, use them as collateral for a loan, or even send them to someone as a gift. Welcome to the future of stock.
And tap into our network of 80 regulatory licenses around the world. We're launching with Intuit, Klarna, and Webull, and it will enable these partners to offer stablecoin payments and crypto trading to their customers in a seamless native experience, while Coinbase does the hard work of compliance, regulation, and licensing fully behind the scenes. And we're not stopping with crypto and stablecoins. We're also helping businesses navigate the biggest technology shift of our time, the shift to AI. So we built another layer into the stack, X402. X402 is an open source payment standard enshrined as a foundation in partnership with Google, Cloudflare, Shopify, and many others. As of today, X402 has processed more than 185 million transactions over the past year. And this is just the beginning of what's possible. Agents can now work on our behalf, researching markets, booking travel, accessing data, breezing through paywalls. And we're building the products to make this real at scale. I'm excited that our flagship launch partner for enterprise agentic commerce is AWS. AWS Agent Core and CloudFront have integrated our wallets and X402 to enable their agent network to spend and earn. And that's not all. All Coinbase payments APIs are now agentic enabled out of the box. This means companies like OpenRouter, the largest AI model exchange, and a Coinbase payments customer will be able to seamlessly accept payments from both humans and agents. When a human wants to pay, they get the best stablecoin checkout in the industry. And when an agent needs to buy compute, it uses the exact same infrastructure. OpenRouter doesn't need an agentic payments team. They just need to enable stablecoin acceptance with Coinbase, and with the click of a button, can accept payments from any stablecoin holder in the world, human or agent. We're fired up about what we're building on CDP and how we're helping shape the future of payments. Let our hard work enable you to update the system. That's what CDP is all about. Now, I'm going to hand it over to Jesse to talk about what we're building on Base.
Thanks, Alec. We've talked about a lot of great products today. The tokenized stocks in Max's section, crypto-backed loans from Roy, cross-border stablecoin, and agentic payments from Alec. All of these products run on Base. I'm Jesse Pollack, the creator of Base, the blockchain for global finance. Base is built at Coinbase. It's trusted by thousands of enterprises, and it's open to everyone. We built Base to be the financial infrastructure for the global economy. It has sub-second speed, sub-cent fees, and is open 24/7, 365. You can execute any trade instantly, make payments faster and cheaper, and use agents to do anything with money. And today, we've got exciting updates to share in all of those areas. And let's start with trading. The world's traders are already here. Base is the largest on-chain venue in the world for spot Bitcoin and Ethereum trading, with 44% of all Bitcoin spot DEX volume, more than every other chain. And we're not building the best place to trade only crypto. Every asset in the world can trade on Base. Equities, commodities, predictions, anything. And as we announced earlier today, we're bringing tokenized stocks from Coinbase to Base. Once on Base, these stocks become globally available, 24/7 markets that settle instantly and at a fraction of the cost of the legacy system. But one thing we've heard from issuers is that it's still too hard to tokenize things. Compliance, interoperability, and security remain major blockers. And to solve that problem, I'm excited to announce the Base native token standard, designed for the future of finance, built directly into the chain. This is B20. The B20 token standard comes with tools for token issuers like compliance, memos for payment reconciliation, and custom metadata extensions. Anyone can deploy any kind of asset on B20. And we expect it to thrive with stablecoins, real-world assets, and on-chain native tokens.
All right. All right. I am back on because now we have Jason on. So yeah, basically Coinbase, bullish on that, but we're not here to talk Base. We're here to talk about the creator of the arena from basically the AVAX family. Jason, how are we doing today, sir?
Doing good, Bill. Thanks for having me on.
Dude, pleasure, man. Pleasure. I've been very, very much a fan of the arena and actually of the AVAX community. I want to dive deep into the arena. I want to dive deep into AVAX. Why hasn't really found, in your opinion, why hasn't it found that success? But the community's great. The arena's great. You know, I've been streaming on the arena for the last 3 weeks. I like it, man. It's part of my rotation.
Good. Amazing. We're about to have some major live streaming upgrades. I think you're going to love it coming in towards the end of this month.
Oh man, I'm a fan, man, because you know the participants in the community are great. You know, we get a lot of just I've streamed everywhere. I've streamed on Zora. I've streamed on, a bunch of other places, on X too. I mean, X gets more viewers because there's more users, but the arena, man, it's a very tight knit family. Do you also feel that as well in your experience?
Unbelievable. It's what separates us apart. We have this core, diehard sort of cult community of believers
So
that they've been here for many years, by the way, approaching 3 years. So they love this. They're ride or die.
yeah. We've had Brandon the Dazzle Novak on, and I
Yeah.
know he said a lot of good things. But why don't we start from the beginning? We have 3,100 plus people tuning in live late on a base. Do this on Spotify. We want more people to know the cool stuff that's being built all across every chain. Talk to me about the arena. What exactly is the arena? Because from first glance, I had no idea what it was. And then I come in and I see there's live streaming, but there's so much more. So why don't you tell us what exactly is the arena?
Yeah. Yeah. Once again, thanks for having me on. And I'm really excited to share what we're building with everyone. So the arena started out as a platform called Stars Arena back in 2023. And it was one of the original SocialFi apps. It was back during the FriendTech days. And it was sort of an offshoot of FriendTech built on Avalanche. And anyone who was using SocialFi apps at that time will remember the key or ticket model, where you could just buy or sell a content creator. And if you bought their ticket, you got access to a private chat room with them. If you sold it, you lost access, and there was fees made during that process. That's all the arena was to start, or Stars Arena at the time. It was just that with a public feed. Then there was a whole sort of crazy story, crazy lore. And the original team kind of drove the platform to zero. There was a lot of mismanagement. And I was initially a community member, and I ended up sort of acquiring this and rebuilding it. And we had to rebuild from scratch. Most people left. And over close to 3 years now, we built this into one of the primary, I don't even call it SocialFi anymore. I call it sort of social crypto, because it's become so much more than that model. Since then, we've added live streaming. We've added stages for social audio. It's our version of Spaces. But we've also drastically expanded the monetization potential. So it's not only buying and selling tickets anymore. You could launch tokens, meme coins, internet capital markets, etc. You could trade perps, stocks, crypto, commodities. You could trade prediction markets, right? And there's all sorts of social tools embedded within financial tools. And I like to say the arena is an app that you never need to leave for any of your social or financial needs. You don't need to go to 5 different sites to get your news and socialize here, to trade assets here, to go to this DEX, to go to Telegram, Discord. It's all sort of in one place. And, we've built a model that accrues value back to the users. So that's kind of the arena in a nutshell. And we're hitting some of our all-time high metrics, even during this really rough period in the market.
That's incredible. By the way, shout out to the 3,170 people live tuning in late down
Yeah,
base
that's great.
with Jason from the arena. This episode is brought to you by Send. Okay, that's a lot to digest. So basically, it's the one-stop shop for really anyone's needs, whether it's live streaming, whether it's trading, perps. You would say, would it be safe to assume that this is the one-stop shop for AVAX, correct? Or is it multi-chain, or what is the deal? Like if I want to launch a coin.
It was initially at AVAX, and parts of this are just on the C chain. For example, if you wanted to launch a coin, it would be on the AVAX C chain. But we've built a multi-chain wallet where you could swap natively across Solana, Ethereum, Base, Arbitrum, kind of you name it, right? BNB. So all of that is sort of embedded. This allows someone to come from any chain, come into the arena and interact. And I know we kind of listed the features, but at the core, the arena is a place where creators can monetize better, right? And it also allows traders and speculators a place to kind of share alpha and perform better. So it's all sort of in one. And it's the mix of these two worlds is working really well.
It's very interesting. Obviously, social trading, like you have things like FOMO, where it's like, people give everyone alpha, and it's obviously done very well. And then you mix that with like live streaming and being able to monetize and creators. You could basically tip people on the platform. Like I've made random people pay me like $10, and like that's great. What have been and all in one place? This is really interesting. What have been some of your best stories from the community, you think, like of those who have made, because we take it for granted not everyone in the world has, for them maybe $5 is a lot of people, a lot of money for some areas, and like some people maybe get tipped $100. It doesn't matter. What have been some of these success stories from creators in your I guess from maybe that they've told you, like what are some of the things that people have like earned and you've heard about that's made you be like, wow, like I'm doing something really good for society?
Yeah, we have some crazy metrics overall across the app. One of the biggest success stories is we did an airdrop. So for the first whole year of this rebuild, this sort of comeback story, we rewarded the people who stuck around and didn't just leave. And the airdrop at its height, before this really big downturn in the market, where AVAX has dropped considerably and so has Arena. But prior to that, at its all-time high, this airdrop was worth $50 million, which we
Wow.
literally gave out to users of an app. It changed a lot of people's lives. I get DMs all the time. It was really kind of incredible to see. In addition to that, we have people who were never content creators before, and these are things that kind of like really touch my heart, and I love these inspirational stories. But you had on, for example, like Brandon Dazzle Novak. He was a guy who was sort of, I would say, born and raised from the crypto perspective in the arena. We got to watch him rise, and now he's having a lot of success with his stream. We had other guys like Matthew Malik comes to mind. These people who never used to run stages or live stream, they didn't even know sort of what it was, and now you see them gaining a huge platform, earning a lot of money, monetizing it. So these are incredible stories. We've had individuals make, even just on the tips and the ticket model, like we've seen, some users make literally like $250,000
Wow.
on this app. We have a native DEX as well, a decentralized exchange to trade the tokens that launch in here. We have over $500 million in total volume. We have close to 1 million registered users now. We've paid out close to 100 million in creator fees that have been earned on this app to creators in different ways. So it's been an incredible, this is over, the entire lifespan of the app, but it's been an incredible way for people to monetize, connect, and sort of rise the ranks. And now, people are discovering traders. The trading side of this is more of a newer development for us, and it's been going really well the past few months.
Wow. Well, I just want to say congratulations on all the success. I mean, those are some impressive metrics. What do you think? So let's turn the attention now to AVAX. So one of the first things that I've done, like I said, this show Late Night on Base used to be only a base show last year. Now I've expanded to everything, and eventually I have plans to have like a late night on AVAX, late night on Solana. I think there should be a dedicated show, but I wanted to get first my feet wet in the AVAX community, and you were one of the first people that people brought up as like you need to have them on. So I'm glad you're on. But in your opinion, and this is just me being just objective in the fact AVAX hasn't really found its, I guess, footing outside of the AVAX community. If you're outside of AVAX, it's tough to kind of see what's going on. And talk to people in there, it still hasn't found its footing outside. What do you think? But I noticed that they made a run for the institutional involvement. I think FIFA is a part of it, and so I see massive potential. In your opinion, why do you think AVAX hasn't caught up to, say, metric wise as some of these other chains, in your opinion?
Yeah, it's a great question. I could talk for a while about this. I'll try to keep it brief. But for everyone who's watching, the history of AVAX, Avalanche saw incredible success last cycle in 2021, that era, as sort of another EVM compatible chain that was super fast, very cheap, and has an incredible consensus model. The tech behind AVAX is very impressive. Dr. Emin Gün Sirer, who is the founder of the chain from Cornell, incredible, mind, and build something really impressive on the tech side. And most early people remember this from DeFi Rush back in 2021 with stuff like Time Wonderland and a bunch of like insane Ponzi's at the time, which brought a lot of people over. Since then, Avalanche has had a really rough time. The 2022-2023 bear market, think it went all the way down to $8. It got a nice sort of little like notoriety and boost during the Stars Arena days. So that was like a huge, the birth of the arena back then. But then since then, it's really sort of struggled. It had its periods. We had an insane meme coin run this last cycle with stuff like Ket and then on the arena itself. But other than that, I think there's a few reasons that Avalanche has struggled relative to other chains. I think one is like it's been difficult for Avalanche to find like its true identity. It's shifted between I think trying to catch a few different trends, and people were never really sure. Like, is this a place for retail to go? Is this more institutional tokenization, RWA stuff, which you've been mentioning? And so it's, and the reality is it could be both, but, people love narratives on crypto Twitter, and that's what they align with. So I think that's been difficult. I think what Avalanche also has, they used to be called subnets. They're now called Avalanche L1s, where it's this model where you could build your own sort of L1 under this architecture. So there's all these sort of permissioned chains under this sort of C chain, which is the main one. And it's really cool in theory, but I think what people have had a hard time, understanding is how the value accrues back to the AVAX token or the C chain itself. And I think that and I know they're working on this, but without that clarity, I think AVAX as a coin has suffered. And unfortunately, in crypto, like price is the best marketing, at least for crypto Twitter. So like what you want to see is you want to see the L1 token have a crazy run, like what happened with Solana in 2023, 2024. And then that creates a wealth effect. And then all these subcategories start emerging, whether it's meme coins or, gaming or, all these different verticals pop up under the success of the L1 token. And AVAX hasn't had that since its all-time high of 140. So I think this has been difficult. And those are two of the main reasons that I think it hasn't had the success. When you are in the Avalanche community, it's like an incredible community, really passionate. But outside of it, it's hard there's not a lot of people kind of bridging over to discover what's here.
Yeah, I think you said it right. Green candles is your best form of marketing for any chain. I think AVAX reminds me of very early days Base, and to be honest with you, Base is kind of like established themselves as like the AI agents, agentic, basically really focusing on like that industry. And without that sector, this year would have been pretty dead. But there's projects out here that have done well, so people come and bridge over. I think AVAX just needs to find that narrative that to bring people over. And I think if they have, whether it's 2021 Ponzi's again, I mean that'd be great. But but from your perspective, and we do have to wrap things up a little bit because the show is ending, but I could talk to you for a while. From the arena's perspective, obviously, you have an EVM compatible wallet. You obviously have built-in features. You're open to every chain coming in. What is your go-to-market strategy to get the word out there about the arena to non-AVAX participants?
Yeah, so I would say like Arena is probably the main consumer app on Avalanche that brings over non-AVAX native.
Yeah,
I would say like within the arena, we have arena enthusiasts. It's not like they're just like AVAX enthusiasts. They just love the arena. They wouldn't care what chain we're on for a lot of them. It has been a struggle though, because, there are some people who won't go on the arena because it's not fully on their preferred chain, which might not be AVAX. So one thing that we have going for us is the average lifespan. I talk about this all the time of these social crypto apps is like 3 to 6 months. Normally they have a farming period. They get super hyped. You don't hear about them ever after. What we've done really well, I think, is our longevity. Like we're a brand name that's been here for close to 3 years now, and not just kind of here like struggling along. We're growing in terms of like users and new features and revenue and all these things. So we do have that sort of longevity and that trust with a lot of people. I think the more features we could roll out that are multi-chain will keep bringing sort of new people over. Obviously, like we were one of the first to do social trading for perps. We had a big meme coin season last year. Like when we have these novel things, it brings over more people during really tough times like this in the market. It's harder. But we're just going to keep building products people actually want to use and that you could only get on the arena. And our distribution isn't even just in crypto. We're an app for iOS. We have Android coming. We have social logins. You can log in with TikTok, Instagram. So we are trying to appeal to a broader user base than just crypto natives. And I think with this new live streaming coming out, we're about to see a ton of like non-crypto natives come into this app, which is going to be exciting.
Dude, I'm excited for that. Like I said, I like the AVAX community. I want to eventually one day do a show dedicated to the AVAX community. I want to just get to know all the builders. We have a ton of AVAX people coming up this month. And I'm excited for the live stream, man, because every episode of Late Night on Base will be on the arena.
Let's go.
Let's go. Well, Jason, listen, man, we gotta wrap things up. But 3,100 plus people tuning in. Appreciate you, man. And we'll have some clips coming on. But thanks for coming on the show, man.
Thanks for having me, Bill. It's really great to see you more active in Avalanche, and we'll keep promoting you on the arena.
We're just getting started, brother. Just getting started. All right, brother.
Right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. That is Jason from the arena. Shout out to the arena family again. Elric, Zia, Coin Collector. What's going on? Yes, I appreciate every one of you guys for tuning in. You know, the AVAX Summit in New York, I might need to go to it, man. I need to meet the people. I'm from California, but I think I need to make that trip. I really probably do. Meet everybody in there and just get to know people. I really think late on AVAX has to happen at some point. I really do. I think it's just too good of a show. And personally, I think it won't take much to get AVAX to be a household name, in my opinion. Could be wrong, but I don't think I will be. Anyways, guys, that's your boy Bill. Shout out to the people who tuned in. Again, this episode is brought to you by Send, peer-to-peer cash on digitally all around the world, and privacy features built in. We will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a good show. We have Zen from the Coinbase team on. We'll talk all about today's discussion. Should be really good. So tune in for that, and we will catch you guys tomorrow. Cheers.